Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here, so remember to subscribe for the latest videos. When Sandra Hüller, the internationally acclaimed actress who turned heads with her deeply riveting performance in Anatomy of a Fall, appeared in a daring new photo series that sent ripples through both the fashion and film worlds, no one was prepared for the sheer power and audacity of her transformation. At 46, Sandra has shattered the stereotypes of age, modesty, and expectation in a way only a woman deeply confident in her craft and self-worth could. The German powerhouse, known for her intense, award-winning performances and her quiet elegance, flipped the script, literally and figuratively, when she stepped in front of the camera to bear it all in a way that wasn't just visually stunning but emotionally groundbreaking. This wasn't nudity for the sake of provocation. This was raw, intentional vulnerability. These pictures don't lie. They expose more than skin. They reveal a lifetime of resilience, control, freedom, and a redefinition of what it means to age as a woman in the spotlight. In an era where younger faces often dominate covers and headlines, Sandra emerged as a symbol of authentic allure, commanding the lens without apology. Draped in shadows and light, her poses were a choreography of inner strength and outer beauty, a masterclass in confidence that silenced critics and stunned admirers across the globe. Photographers described her as effortless, ferocious, and magnificently human, capturing not only her physical form but her essence, undaunted, unfiltered, and unconquerable. But how did Sandra get here? How did the once reserved, stage-trained actress rise through the unforgiving labyrinth of the global film industry to become not only a cinematic tour de force, but now also an icon of fearless self-expression? From her early days in theater, cloaked in dramatic monologues and European indie films, to her meteoric rise on the international stage, Sandra's journey has always defied convention. Known for her deliberate choices, she's never chased blockbusters or fame. She chased art. She chased truth. And now, that pursuit of truth is written all over her skin in photographs that pulse with meaning and message. With each frame released, fans and fellow artists erupted with support and awe. Major publications declared the shoot a watershed moment in modern glamour, while social media buzzed with tributes hailing Sandra as a new feminist icon, a rebel in haute couture, and the bravest woman in Europe. Critics were silenced not because she was scandalous, but because she was stunningly unapologetic. And that kind of boldness speaks louder than any script ever could. After unleashing those unforgettable images, Sandra Hüller did more than shock the media. She ignited a roaring conversation about artistry, autonomy, and the fierce beauty of self-possession. As the world replayed each frame, each curve, each flicker of emotion in her eyes, it became clear that these photos were less a departure and more the ultimate culmination of a career defined by fearless transformation. Sandra hasn't simply gone bare. She's laid bare the illusions that Hollywood perpetuates about age, modesty, and the acceptable bounds of feminine allure. In every pixel, she challenges the idea that a woman's power diminishes with years, instead illustrating that true magnetism only gains depth over time. The response was electric. From Cannes to Berlin, from glossy magazine covers to underground fashion blogs, commentators scrambled to interpret what these images meant, not just for Sandra's own narrative, but for every woman who has felt sidelined by society's narrow definitions of beauty. Critics tried to box her in with tired cliches, labeling the shoot shocking, controversial, even self-indulgent. But Sandra's allies pushed back, pointing out that her choice was neither impulsive nor superficial. It was deliberate. It was crafted with the same exacting artistry she brings to every role, a masterful interplay of light and shadow, vulnerability and strength, exposure and control. Inside industry circles, fashion designers confided that collaborating with Sandra felt like stepping into a new realm of creative freedom, where the muse didn't just wear the garments, she became the message. And as she strode down every red carpet thereafter in gowns that spoke as loudly as her photographs, it became impossible to ignore the tidal wave she'd set in motion. Directors who had once cast her in supporting roles now pitched her as the lead in projects that center mature, complex women. Producers whispered of biographical films charting her meteoric rise and this landmark moment of rebirth. But beyond the glitz, the narrative that resonates most deeply comes from the fans, those everyday people who see themselves reflected in Sandra's journey. Social media erupted with testimonials from women who, inspired by her audacity, shared their own stories of stepping into the light. A teacher posting unfiltered selfies at 50, an entrepreneur launching a bold campaign at 60, a college student wearing that daring dress she'd always been too afraid to try. Sandra's photos transcended mere celebrity gossip. They became the spark for a grassroots movement of self-love, resilience, and unapologetic expression. On podcasts and panel discussions, cultural critics dissected the broader implications. Are we witnessing the dawn of a new era in which women define their own standards of beauty and power? Is Sandra Hüller simply the first star to shine this brightly, or the catalyst for an industry-wide revolution? Whatever the answer, one thing is undeniable: Sandra has forever altered the landscape of Hollywood glamour. She turned criticism into conversation, skepticism into solidarity, and a single photo shoot into a cultural statement that ripples far beyond the glossy pages. And as she continues to chart her path, whether in upcoming film roles that celebrate depth over youth or in more unapologetic photo revelations, we'll be there to chronicle every breathtaking moment. Because on Daily Gossip, we don't just share the headlines, we reveal the heart of the story. Stay tuned for more insider analysis, emotional takeaways, and glamorous insights into the celebrities who dare to bear it all, because with Sandra Hüller, the pictures don't just lie, they lead the way.